Welcome back. The Egyptian government has allocated 71.4 billion Egyptian pounds in investments in the fiscal year 2023-2024 for the development of governorates of Upper Egypt. The state's treasury's share of this money reached 31.3 billion Egyptian pounds, with 44% of these investments. The projects include establishing and paving vital road networks, besides completing the construction of the Holy Family Road. It will also establish 400 villages in desert, implement the National Program for Social Housing in Asyut, and developing slums in New Valley Governorate. Additionally, the government aims at implementing several development projects in the governorates of Central Upper Egypt during the fiscal year 2023 and 2024. Welcome back, and with us live over the phone is Ambassador Ayoub, Mohammed Ayoub, and he is a Minister of Parliamentary Commercial. Good evening, Your Excellency.
Good evening to you and to the viewers.
How are you doing, sir? Let us first talk about the government that is paying great attention and special focus on Upper Egypt after a long period of marginalization. What are the most important industrial complexes established in that particular dear part of Egypt?
When the government allocates this big amount of 71 billion, 400 million Egyptian pounds, that is more than $2 billion, for development of Upper Egypt or South Egypt, this means that the big effort is going under process, and this is a badly needed development in this part of Egypt. This is one thing. Other thing, if we look to the environmental situation in Upper Egypt, we find that Upper Egypt is vital for economy and for tourism and for the level or the standard of living in the whole country. Let us see what is being done. This 71.4 billion Egyptian pounds, 44% will be supplied by the treasury, and the other will be by the private sector and the investors. So this badly needed development at this part of Egypt is being covered or coped with concrete steps, beginning with the infrastructure. We can't have viable agriculture or industrial projects in this part of Egypt without roads, without viable roads and modern roads. So there will be a focus on the roads or network of roads in Upper Egypt, connecting it to the valley and also to export ports of Alexandria and Safaga and Artasir on the Red Sea. This is very important from the point of view of real and accelerated economic development. When we find that at some stage the road of the Sacred Family, which visited Egypt, was not completed, and the government is now focusing on completing this road, this simply means that more tourism is going to come to Egypt with this new facility which the government is working on right now. It is very important from touristic point of view, from cultural point of view, and also the public image of Egypt in the outer world. So all these projects, a network of roads, the road of the Sacred Family will visit Egypt, and at the same time connecting the Western Desert to Asyut and the valley, which is very important because this part of the Western Desert was partially neglected in the previous decades. Now it is on the map, and luckily we are beginning this year, this financial year 2023-2024. This means that within a short time span, we are going to see concrete results as far as economy is concerned, and as far as tourism is concerned, and also at the same time absorbing manpower in this part of Egypt. That is, unemployment will come down, or let us say the employment rate will be higher in the Upper Egypt, and they will stop coming to Cairo looking for jobs.
Right. Ambassador Ayoub, what are the industries associated with Upper Egypt? And we have for years known that Upper Egypt is a very strategic part in, I mean, regardless of the tourism, and it's a good venue for tourism and all that. But also there are important industries that are associated with Upper Egypt. If you like to elaborate over these industries and how the Egyptian administration have taken it over its shoulder to empower these industries and upgrade them at the same time.
This is a very important aspect of development in Upper Egypt. We know that in Western Desert there is a very high class or high quality dates and olives, for example. It is not fully utilized, and many exporters are asking for the Egyptian dates, and they don't find it. When the government is focusing on agro-industries in this part of Egypt, this means we are increasing the value addition or adding value to the natural resources which we have. A good part of it is agriculture, as I mentioned, that is dates and olives. In this part of it, it is organic, by the way. The dates, and it is organic without any pesticides or any fertilizers. So it is a high value product which was not fully utilized. Now we can say that the government is focusing on the agro-industries in this part of Egypt and trying to make the best use of the natural resources which we have, and at the same time encouraging the new generation to, will I say, immigrate or just travel to the Western Desert to give their input as far as production is concerned. And I have found that in Siwa and in Farafra and in Dakhla and in El Kharga Oasis, many trees, the dates is on trees, and they do not find enough manpower to collect it. So we are making better use of our natural resources, agricultural resources, and asking the investors to come and investing in this very fertile part of Egypt as far as agricultural products are concerned, because most of it is export commodities. If we say the olives, this means that olive oil. When we say this, it means that packed dates and stuffed dates can be exported as far as China, and Chinese importers are asking and clamoring for the Egyptian dates, which whether stuffed or non-stuffed. And there are some factories which I have seen in Siwa, some factories are there, and we need to increase the value addition of this part of Egypt as far as export is concerned, and at the same time we are creating new job opportunities for the new generation in this part, and making use of the established small projects and we'll give them microcredit in many cases, and it helps them, and at the same time it increases the national income in this part of Egypt, which is very important. This one thing. Other thing is that when we speak about the Western Desert, it is a strategic location in Egypt because it is neighboring Libya and neighboring Sudan. And we know what is happening in Libya and what is happening now in Sudan. So this is an important place in Egypt from strategic point of view, which we have to care for. We care for not putting soldiers there, but rather creating economic entities that are viable, and the people will defend their own interests when they have these viable economic projects, which the government is financing with $31.4 billion within the next financial year.
Right. On that note, Ambassador Ayoub, Mahmoud Ayoub, would like to thank you so much talking to Cairo local time, and you have a good evening. And now we're going to move on to another a different item. Renowned archaeologist Zay Hawass has urged UNESCO to collaborate with the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities on repatriating Egyptian artifacts long housed at the British Museum. And we have more details in the following report.
Renowned archaeologist Zahi Hawass has urged UNESCO to collaborate with the Egyptian Ministry of Tourism and Antiquities in repatriating Egyptian artifacts long housed at the British Museum. Hawass made the appeal for the repatriation of the Egyptian artifacts at the British Museum, chief among them the iconic Rosetta Stone, in the wake of the recent revelation that around 2,000 artifacts has been stolen from the museum. Recovery efforts for the